We live in a society that heavily relies on technology and devices for daily life. It's natural for our children to be exposed to screens, and without realizing it, they can be overstimulated. Do you know the signs? Well, keep watching to learn 5 indicators of screen overstimulation. Hey there, it's Dee the SLP with Spirit Speech Consulting. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am a speech-language pathologist who encourages, motivates, and inspires parents towards powerful, positive parenting in a dangerous digital age. I help them to systematically create an environment that fosters developmental growth and success that their children will benefit from for years to come. Before we jump into the video, I want to share something I'm super excited about, my upcoming webinar. I've been contacted by several parents wanting a simple solution to the screen time blues. This live 60-minute webinar will be loaded with education, research, training, practical tips, and resources. You'll get a workbook to house all of your learning and your notes. And there will also be a live Q&A to answer all of your burning questions. And if that's not already a ton of value, you'll get a bonus video after the webinar to act as your personal coaching accountability time with me to help with implementing all that you've learned. I'm sure you can see how passionate I am about helping as many parents as possible. This is not just a business for me, but a movement to raise healthy, happy, well-adjusted children. So go ahead and get your seat now. It's filling up, and I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. Time is running out, and the doors will be closing soon. I will be starting my parenting coaching cohort in January and probably won't offer this again until late next year. Okay, so let's jump on into the video. What are the signs of screen overstimulation? Well, I'm going to give you 5, and the first one is hyperactivity. That's right. If your child seems to be very hyper, they're running around, particularly after watching a show or after getting off their tablet, and even beyond that, if they seem very hyper and it's difficult to calm them down, to bring them back to reality, then chances are they probably are a little overstimulated. I will particularly watch it right after viewing a show, right after their tablet, right after getting off the phone. If they're running around and just seem like they're out of control, then that is a sure sign that they might be overstimulated. Number 2 is that they want screens all the time. So if they seem to be a little preoccupied with screens, that they want screens in the car, they want screens when you guys are at a restaurant, they want their screen after dinner or even at dinner. They want their screen at bedtime. If they're wanting it all the time or asking for it all the time, or if you can't really have it out because they're going to want it. If you as the parent are feeling that you need to hide it and keep it from them, then that would be a sign that they probably are a little overstimulated, because children naturally want to play. Children naturally want to have human interaction and connection. They want to play with toys. They want to break things and build things and crush things, especially boys. I'm a boy mom, so I know my boys would be jumping off the furniture and all kind of things, especially if I let them. It's really a child's native language to play. And so if they're not playing, if they are not seeking out that interaction and that engagement with another human, with toys, then you could probably rest assured that they might be overstimulated, especially if they're wanting screens to fill that time. Other indicators could be children with developmental delays and that may be on the autism spectrum. So that's a little bit something different. But generally speaking, with neurotypical developing children, they are going to want to play and engage. So if you're not seeing that and they're wanting to replace that time with screens, or they're just always talking about it or always asking for it, or even if you are trying to engage them and pull them out outside and do something, but they are bored and they want to get back to the screen, then that could be a sign of screen overstimulation. All right, number 3 is being disobedient. So this can have some overlap with some other things and other issues, of course, but particularly right after watching a screen or participating with their tablet or a device, if you see that they are defiant, disobedient, more so than usual, then that could be a sign that they might have been overstimulated, because they now are upset and they're expressing how upset they are because they're not getting what the stimulation is that they're craving, which is the screen. So a lot of times children who are overstimulated are a lot more defiant and disobedient. So you can watch out for that. And particularly, as I said before, with the other indicators, is that if you're seeing that they're being disobedient right after the use of a device. So that could be a sure way that they might have screen time overstimulation. Number 4 are tantrums. So when you turn off the screen and they are having a tantrum, they are kicking and having a fit, and you can't calm them, then that could, and especially right after you turn the device off, that could be an indication that they are overstimulated. Because again, they're craving that stimulation that they get from the screen, and now that they don't have it, they're wanting it, and this is their expression of them wanting it and showing you and telling you that they want it. So in this webinar, I will be talking a lot about how you can have screen time limits with no tantrums. There is a system that I created that I help my parents with in understanding different things that you need to do to make sure that you are giving them an alternative, having a plan, and being consistent. So those are the 3 things that you can do to make sure, or to at least give you a chance in lessening the tantrums. So a lot of times my parents have told me that by using the system that I walk them through, they may see tantrums 2 days, maybe at most 3, and then their child is not really even wanting the screen because the parent has started building a relationship with the child with alternatives, and the parent is consistent and the parent is holding to their guns. But like I said before, children naturally want to play. They naturally seek out interaction. They naturally want to be with another human, doing something, having fun, and not staring at a screen. That's not really the natural way of development. So if we could take them out of that environment, if they are overstimulated, and give them some tools and a plan and consistency, then they usually do really well. And parents are often very surprised when they find out that it wasn't really that hard and it wasn't as bad as they thought. So that's the 4th one. And then we are now at the last one. Number 5 is problems sleeping. So when your child's brain is dysregulated and overstimulated and just moving because they've had so much stimulation, they had so much entertainment, they've had so much screen activity, then it's hard for their brain to calm down. It's hard for them to not have that constant stimulation and then be able to go to sleep. So a lot of times children will wake up. You might have put them to bed, and 30 minutes later, they're up because they're still thinking about what they saw. Those images are still going on in their head. They're even still wanting that stimulation because now it's been sort of like a hit of them feeling good and feeling happy and having fun, and they're wanting that. So it's difficult to shut that off on their little bitty brains. You know, they don't really have the regulation and the maturity to just be able to shut it off and know that, okay, going to bed is good for me and that's what I need to do. So, you know, we even have adults who don't want to admit to needing to go to sleep. So just imagine a child having to shut off their brain and all that activity and having to go to sleep. So if you're seeing problems with sleep, if you're seeing a child waking up a lot, and your child waking up a lot, I should say, wanting your attention and just having a hard time of soothing themselves, then that could be a sign of screen overstimulation. So just make sure that you are watching out for these signs. And again, some of these indicators can have some overlap. So don't think that this is an exhaustive list, or that if your child shows any one of these things, then they're surely overstimulated. It's not what I'm saying, but it is something to think about. It is something for you to be aware of as we are setting limits, making better decisions, and just creating an environment for our children to thrive. That's the whole thing that I'm about, is giving my parents the knowledge, education, training, and tools so their children can thrive. So, all right. Well, that is all that I have for you guys. I will put the link to the webinar in the description box, so you can click that and register. Doors will be closing very, very soon. And if you like what you heard today on this video, there will be tons more, because I have created this webinar to give you very, very practical tips, things that you can use in your parenting right now, education and training. I hope that if you've seen my other videos, I'm really big on giving parents education and knowledge, because I live by, if you know better, you do better. And that's what I believe we all have, or we all want. So hope to see you at the webinar. Again, doors will be closing pretty soon, so hurry up and grab your seat, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye.